Hi. Hello. Hi, hi. How do I do this? So warm up. So here. Website updated. Warm up. Then lecture today. Welcome. Let's see. How do I pin this? Pin message. Okay. Okay, I think I did that. Okay. Hello everyone. Hi. Like, subscribe, join membership. I hope everyone's doing well. Okay. First off, hi. The website got updated. Just a little. But check back often to see the website get updated. Yay. Yay. Thank you. Okay. Hello. Hi, hi. Yeah, I'm gonna warm up a little. And then afterwards, we're gonna do some lecture. It's on a topic that's very popular, right? Because I mean, just even in this live stream, I've had a lot of people ask me about, I'm a beginner. What should I be doing? How should I be going about, this and that and that and that. So maybe it's a lot of stuff. Maybe this would be part 1. Who knows? But I'll try to get to the essential aspects of starting to learn piano, and maybe you could even apply it for other instruments as well, just starting out, right? Hello everyone. Hi. Like, subscribe, join membership. I'm gonna warm up. Thank you. Happy Wednesday. Okay. Okay. All right. Hey, Topio. Hey, Chadman. Hey. Oh, hey, welcome back. Hello, everyone. Hey. Ha, 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 ha. Thank you, thank you. Hello, 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 hello. Hello. Hi, hi. Hi, welcome, welcome. Salute. Yeah. Hello. Hi. Hi, Free 8214 is back. Topio, Topio, Topio. Thank you. Cool, 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 cool. Oh, thank you. Dopio calling me pure magic. Thank you so much, Dopio. Hey. Guten Abend over there. Oh, guten soon to be guten Nacht, right? Yeah. Here it's good afternoon. Hey Mitch. Good to see you. Hey, good to see you. Good to see you. Hey, good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you. I think I caught up on everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm just gonna be I'm gonna warm up first, and then we're gonna go to a very hot topic. What should you be learning as a beginning piano student? Yeah, Oxford. Hi. Hello. Love hearing you play. Thank you so much, Chadman. Appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Hi, like, subscribe to your membership. Thank you. Eleazar. Hi. Hello, everyone. Hi. Like, subscribe to your membership. Just a second. Is the connection okay? Check my connection. Connexione. Yeah. Previously connected. Huh. Okay, block. Some things are eating my Wi-Fi. Block. And block. And block. Yep, it's going up. The numbers are going up. Alright, I'm blocking my devices. Again. Smart home manager. Well, I wish it was smarter. Automatically block. Can I like assign times? I wonder if that's possible. Okay, view all previously connected. Block, please. Nice. Block, 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 and one more. Okay. All of it is blocked. Great. Blocked. Alright. That means I should have a decent connection now. Thank you, thank you, thank you, everyone. Hi, hi. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Clear? Audio is good? Video is good? Thank you so much. Thank you. Interesting topic. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, very interesting, right? Yeah, thank you. Okay, thank you, thank you. Okay, all right. Let's see. Hello, Kirby Melody. Yes, they're here. They're here for everybody. Do I have sheet music? Oh no. Oh, okay. Thank you. Hello, yeah. Today I have different water. I figured I was gonna be talking a lot more, so I got a bigger bottle of water. But it's still water, thank you. hi. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. Hello everyone. Just a little bit more and we'll have our question and answer time as well as the lecture time. What should you be learning as a beginner in piano? And if it doesn't apply to you, then you could also think of it this way. What should you be teaching to a beginner pianist? So you could kind of do both. What should you be teaching? What should you be learning in the beginning stages of piano? Ideally, we're gonna kind of go over. Maybe this would be like part 1, but we're gonna go over the ideal situation. Because the thing is, should we abandon the ideal for reality? The answer is absolutely not. We should always try to match our reality to the ideal, and that's actually always going to be the case. Say that we don't, but here's the thing, mindset wise, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to have fun. But skill set wise, you have to separate the two. You have to separate the mindset and the skill set. The mindset and the skill set, these are very, very different things. And we're going to go over all of this. The basics, you need to learn the basics. And then who should you be learning from? Should the beginning piano people, should they learn from a mediocre pianist? They got their degrees, they could teach beginning piano. Are they the only ones that are ideally good for beginning piano? Can a world-class top pianist, chosen by the historic legends, scouted by the historic legends, and was told musical genius, artistic genius, is someone like me not capable of teaching a beginner piano student? We'll go into that. Is it because one would assume that I lack empathy? But think about it this way. I'll go into detail. Say that you're a tour guide and you have an innate sense of direction, and your tour group has absolutely no sense of direction. Does that mean the tour guide, because they have a innate sense of direction, they're going to just abandon the crew and start walking off fast? Is that what tour guides do? No. Essentially, if you're a tour guide, regardless of whether these people have sense of direction or are confused, or you're not confused because you already know the place and you have an innate gift of direction. Regardless, as a tour guide, you're going to stick with the group, but you are still the leader. Maybe the tour guide will never understand what it feels like to be without a sense of direction. But does that mean that there's a lack of empathy? No, not necessarily. Anybody could empathize with a sense of confusion. And that's enough to kind of wait for them and to guide them. That's enough. Now, we'll get into this, right? So it's like, if well, I actually had no empathy to begin with, because the way I learned was very one of a kind way. My first piano piece was my first piano homework was Chopin waltz. And it wasn't like the easiest Chopin waltz. It wasn't, the easiest. It was a very famous Chopin waltz. That was my first ever homework. So yeah, obviously, nobody's gonna empathize with me either, right? Very few people would empathize with me. If everyone, if someone says, everyone needs empathy, hey, I'd like some empathy too. But yeah, we'll get into, every single aspect of a beginner shortly. I'm still warming up. Thank you so much. This was just a preview of what's to come. It's going to be I think it's going to be an interesting topic / lecture session. All right. Well, I'm going to warm up. Thank you. I'm a beginner. Oh, okay. No worries. Yeah. Well, this is perfect for you. Yeah. Like, subscribe, join membership. Thank you. Yeah. Subscribe, join membership. Just a little bit more, and then I'll get into some lectures. then there was this. Let's see. Silver Wolf, hi! Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. I got empathy. Thank you, Eleazar. Thank you, Silver Wolf. Hey, don't feel it, Silver Wolf. You're so cute. Okay, I drink water. Thank you. Hydrate. Staying hydrated. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Like, subscribe, join membership. Yeah. Thank you, thank you. You know, Eleazar said, I empathize with you. People often think because you're talented, it was easy for you. They don't see what difficulties and sacrifices stand behind that journey. Empathy sent. Yeah, actually, because my teachers didn't, and rightfully so. My teachers were wonderful people, every single one of them. I needed them, and they've added on to me. They held me to such a high standard, and it was impossible standard. And when I achieved that impossible standard, obviously they were there to congratulate me. But just because someone is talented and gifted doesn't mean that it's easy. You know why? It's because the historic legends who are geniuses themselves will handpick you, will scout you, and they'll hold you to the highest standard. Not just any standard, they'll hold you to a nearly impossible standard. Like, is this like humanly possible? That kind of standard. It's like, like those Olympic athletes who, Olympic athletes. Okay, for example, a good example is Michael Phelps. I mean, I think Michael Phelps was very talented in swimming. If you disagree with me, then I'm sorry, I disagree with you. I think Michael Phelps was born to be a great swimmer. But was his standard the same as everyone else? Did his coach, did people around him hold him to the same standard as everyone else? No. He was held to an impossible standard. An impossible standard. And that's where I'm from. So when, before you get jealous of somebody thinking, oh, life was so much easier for her. Piano's so easy for her. She never struggled with, learning pieces. It's true. I'm not gonna say that wasn't true. It's true. It was actually easier than you think it was. I'll be honest. You think I worked hard, but I didn't. I worked hard in a way, but I didn't in a way. You think I'm disciplined, but no. Concert pianists usually practice about 8 hours a day, like 6 to 8 hours a day. I don't. The most I've ever practiced my whole entire life was 9 hours, and then my finger cracked open. So I stopped doing that. But let me just tell you, yeah, it wasn't fair. Yeah, I practiced a little, and then I won. I won competitions, auditions, opportunities came to me instead of people who practice 8 hours a day. I didn't. So is life fair? In that matter, in that aspect, no. But you know what is fair is I was held to a very impossible standard. It's not about practicing. It's not about the hours that you practice. It's about opening your eyes, ears, and mind. In terms of that, I was held to the highest standard ever. And in some cases, I've exceeded it. And so don't compare me to you, or anybody like me to yourself, because it's just going to be comparing apples and oranges. The only commonality is going to be the piano. But, besides the fact that, oranges and apples belong in the same category of food, I guess, produce, right? Everything else is going to be different. So don't compare yourself to me. Don't compare yourself to anybody like me. It's just, we could get into it and you'll find out how different it was. If you go to my website, chkpiano.world, I've updated it so that you could actually see some of my pictures, like in a photo grid. Just go and scroll, and you'll just kind of see, like in a glance, like, oh, this is some of the places some of the concerts she's done, some of the, some of them. It's a very tiny sliver of my life, and you can see it in a glance. But I mean, it's not all. That's not all I've done. Whatever is presented here, it's not all of me. And whatever is presented here in the pictures, that's not all of me, right? But, it's still, you'll be able to get just an idea of what I've been doing with my life. So go ahead and check it out. Yeah, I still need to warm up. But yeah, I was not the most hardworking. My colleagues, I have colleagues who I used to go, and then I used to kind of look at because all my friends are practicing, right? So I used to go around in the practice rooms and then see whoever's taking a practice break. And I go from one practice break friend to another practice break friend and to another practice break friend. I would jump around the practice rooms, socializing with the practice break people. Yes, and I graduated at top of my class. I was a top incoming and top graduating. But that's it's a different system, different world, different standard. Altogether. So, but rest assured, I know what it's like, or I know what should be done at the beginning stages, even though I've never had a beginning stage. I minored in pedagogy, and my teacher was world's best. He knew what he was teaching. Anyway, subscribe, join membership. I still need to practice a little, but this is just a snippet of what is to come. Welcome in. Hey, Shishi. That's so cute. Thank you. Gigi, you think it's cute that I used to like go from one friend to another friend taking practice breaks? Everybody is like, oh, Christine's never practicing. But then I would win like the competition, the school competition, or like I'd be the school representative, or you know. Anyway, yeah, we'll get into the topic after I warm up. Thank you so much. Apple and orange. Oh, strawberry. Oh, yes. Actually, yes, I'm a strawberry. Yes, yes. He was a very good swimmer. Oh, yes, Michael Phelps, right? Yeah. I mean, yes, but, you know, he was, yeah, he was, thank you. But, you know, he was held to a higher standard than everybody else, right? So it's not like, you know, you can't really say that he had it easy, right? Do you have advice for conservatoire students? Yeah, I could get to that, sure. All right, just gonna practice a little. Thank you. And then I'll get to the topic. Thank you. All right, just need to let's see. Thank you. Hang in there, just a little bit. Hang in there. And yeah, once again, when you're hanging in there, maybe you could hang out here too. My website, CHKPiano.world. Yeah, I was not a hard worker, but I played over 6,000 performances. I gave over 6,000 performances. Yeah. And it's just it's a sliver of what I've done with my life, I guess, here. But yeah, just you'll get a glance of it. Hello everyone, like, subscribe, join membership, and come back because we're gonna talk about a lot of stuff. Yeah, thing that I would like to say, don't compare yourself to somebody who's very different from you. Yeah, the common denominator is piano, but that does not make let's see, Vladimir Horowitz and Elton John the same. If Elton John tried to compete with Vladimir Horowitz, or Vladimir Horowitz tried to compete with Elton John, that's just weird, don't you think? Yeah, I mean, the common denominator is piano, sure, but I mean, if you don't know who Vladimir Horowitz is, please look him up. But if you don't know who Vladimir Horowitz is, it's equivalent to not knowing who Michael Jordan is, really, or Michael Jackson, kind of. It's to that degree. So you should kind of look for Vladimir Horowitz. Anyway, yeah, and I've worked with a Vladimir Horowitz student, and I've had both of them. I've met two Vladimir Horowitz students, and both of them loved me. Yeah, the other one, she was just raving about me, just to everybody, to everybody she met. Not just like she didn't talk to me. She just said, "Wonderful." And then she went around, apparently she went around the whole entire school saying, have you heard Christine play? Have you heard Christine play? And she would just like talk about how she thought I was so wonderful. And so, and I found that the rumors circled around, and then it got to my ear, and I was like, I never knew that, you know. Anyway, yeah, and you know, to be, and it's like, oh well, why not? Why not compare yourself to me? Well, if you haven't been, if Fleischer didn't, if somebody like Leon Fleischer didn't try to scout you, if somebody like John Perry didn't try to scout you, if somebody like Leon Fleischer didn't try to scout you, if somebody like Dr. Gordon, they didn't try to scout you, if somebody like Vitaly Margolis didn't try to scout you, if somebody like Miss Anne Shine didn't try to scout you, if somebody like Joseph Kallichstein thought you were wonderful, you know, if this didn't happen to you, then you really shouldn't be comparing, because it's gonna be apples and oranges. Common denominator is produce, obviously, but it's not the same. So don't compare. Having said that, I will go into what makes a great beginning stage of a piano a little later. Thank you. And I'm just going to warm up because I have 2 performances coming up. Thank you. I forgot to mention Mark Duran and Norman Krieger, Professor Norman Krieger. Yeah, but you know, if you didn't get scouted by the likes of Mark Duran, Leon Fleischer, and you know, Horowitz's student, Rubinstein's student, you know, if you didn't get rave reviews from the world's best, then don't compare yourself to someone who has. Again. It doesn't mean that I don't understand you. No. I understand what it's like not to be a great swimmer. So I could empathize, but just, you know, don't try to compete where there's no competition. It's just wise not to. Conservatoire students. What about conservatoire students? You mean like the classes that you should be taking, or how many years you should be in school, or FYI, I finished my doctorate top of my class. I graduated with a award given to the top doctorate graduate. I finished all my courses in 2 years. And I graduated top of my class. So, and I was a faculty member before I graduated my doctorate program. So, let me know what you want. What you want? Okay, let me know what you want. You mean like specifically what conservatoire advice for conservatoire students? see, I see. Ah. All very good questions. Wow. You must be a real conservatoire student. Those are real concerns. Very nice. I sometimes get these questions, and I know, it's not their real concern. But your question proves that you are indeed part of a conservatoire. Yes, I will get to that. Says advice on practice for performance, exams, auditions, recommendations for classes, how to work towards becoming top of the class, also networking procedure. Yeah. It's all real things. Yeah, it's very real. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. I'll get to that. I am going to actually disconnect this. Okay. I'll do more tomorrow. Kind of taking a break today, I guess. Hold on, just a second. Set up. Microphone. Dun, dun, dun. Microphone. Dun, dun, dun. Just a second, everybody. Microphone. I forgot to set this up. Hello. Mic check. Are we on? Are we good? External mic is connected. Da, 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 da. I think we're connected. Okay, another thing is I think I'm gonna be using these with do I have a here we go. Yay! How many pages? Oh, not bad. Okay, cool. So I do like using my let me see. Let me do some audio check. Check. Sure. Hello. All good? All good. Nice. How good though? I wanna see how it sounds like. Hi. The website got updated. No, that's not where we are. But your Okay, cool. Perfect. Mute and mute. All right. Well, welcome to I should write this down. Here's to iPad. Green. The phone went green. I picked up the phone and said yellow. Do you guys know that joke? Did I tell you all my jokes are not mine? Did I tell you I don't know how to tell jokes? All I know how to do is mediocrely recycle someone else's joke that I found funny. But I only remember the whole part where it says, the phone went green. I picked up the phone and said yellow. Anyway, green. Today is gonna be lecture 1. Everyone. Oh no. Keep writing on myself. Lecture 1. And wait, this is magnetic. And hi. Welcome to lecture 1. What do I do? Oh, do I erase this? Okay. Gotta keep it clean. All right. Well, this is lecture one. Um, welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome in. Um, welcome to our channel. Welcome to for those of you who are returning. For those of you who are new, like, subscribe, and join membership. Thank you. First of all, this is on. I'm gonna do one part. I'm just gonna do a let's see. Before I get into the thing, there's just a quick Q&A. One of the people here. Hi, I'm late. I know, Sanchez. Hi, hug. One of the people asked me about tip for conservatoire. Advice on practice for performance exams, auditions, recommendations for classes, how to work towards becoming top of the class, also networking advice. Beginning piano lecture YouTube. Okay. For conservatoire, I mean, if you're in a conservatoire, it means that you've actually passed some kind of hurdles, right? You've if you're in a conservatoire setting, then that means there's been some kind of validation for your efforts thus far. Um, I can't say much about practicing because I'm not known for that. And I can't say much about performances and auditions and stuff like that because despite the lack of practicing, I did everything. But I could say something about the classes. Depending on your degree, if you're just at a 4-year or a conservatoire, if you're doing your undergrad, let me know if it's glitchy though. Let's see. Am I glitchy? Hi. Hi, Sanchez. Oops. What's that? Oh. Dodgers lost again. Oh, sorry. Which year are you? Because the advice for 4-year and then masters and doctorate are going to be all different. You know, people keep saying that you don't need to go. You know, a lot of people don't. They're in a field of trade. Hello? Am I still alive? Undergrad first year. Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me see. Undergrad first year. I advise you to get, depending on how good you want to be, I advise you to get as many degrees as possible. It may not be practical coming from, you know, our current economic or structure and our current world. How do I say this? Our current world events, or I know it sounds very counterproductive to say get as many degrees as you can. But I'll tell you one thing. Hmm. If you've done undergrad music studies, that's barely scratching the surface. And then if you go into masters, that's even a little bit more, but that's just still scratching the surface. And say that you get into a doctorate program and you do your doctorate program. Depending on how you do your doctorate program, it's still scratching the surface. And I have not scratched the surface. I've gone to the deep core of the, I've gone to the Middle Earth. I've gone to the core and back. I've learned everything there is to learn about music. I've done, like even in my undergrads, I have extra 126 units or something like that. That I've just kind of I've school hopped. I've gone to other schools, and then I've transferred the credits over. Um, you know, but it's kind of like, mm, yeah, I want you to learn as much as you possibly can, but not with the mindset that you want to be better than the person next to you. No, but with the mindset that kind of quenches your thirst. Do you have questions about music? Do you have questions about piano? What kind of questions are they? Write them down and go to the school, go to the teacher who could answer those questions. Um, and that's going to get you to the right place. Not necessarily like, um, I mean, scholarships are an issue, right? There's different kinds of scholarships. There's financial need based, and then there's merit based scholarships, right? Um, and merit based scholarships, everybody could get it. It's not just the poor people or the rich people. It's anybody. It's up for grabs. It's merit based. It depends on how good you are and how badly the school wants to keep you, because you're competitive. You know, um, that's merit based, right? Um, yeah, obviously you want to do your best, but then you want to network. In terms of honestly, I'll just be honest. If you're top of the top of the top, you're not gonna have any friends because they don't want to be friends with you. People like to congregate together, birds of a feather flock together. Um, it's true. People don't want to be your friend. They want to use you. So I have had plenty of people use me for my talent. Like this one time, I've it, for people who've known, for people who know, right? Doctorate exit exams are a thing. You know, exit exams for doctorate degrees are pretty difficult. You need to study for them, and you need to know pretty much everything, right? Because it's not just the piano performance, you know, that matters, but it's all your academic minors, your minors. They're all there. Most of these people show up to your exit exam and start asking you questions regarding the topic, right? Um, anyway, I've had my one time, I got done with my exit exam. Obviously, I passed. At that time, I didn't know I passed top of the class, um, but I passed. And our school has a lot of Juilliard graduates, people who've done their masters at Juilliard. They come to USC and do their doctorate. It's like a thing. But yeah, uh, you know, I beat them all. I beat Juilliard graduates time and time again. For those, and then for those people who are like, oh, Juilliard is the best. Well, I've beat them in Aspen, which is named as Juilliard's summer camp. I beat them at USC, and I've had a Juilliard professor that I studied with, Mr. Kalkstein, Professor Kalkstein, and yeah, I've been there, done that. Um, yeah, after I got my done with that exit exam, I just wanted to go grab ice cream. That's all I wanted to do. After my exam, I was like, I need an ice cream. So I headed over to an ice cream store, but my friend, uh, she was like, I need help. And so she like got me to give her a lesson, like for free. Like, and she used me for free lessons. And she was my friend. So I've only had users around me. So if you want reality, I'll give you a reality check. Being top of the class is great. You get a lot of attention, you get a lot of opportunities, you are top of the class, and people may talk behind your back, but they never talk in front of you because you're the top. Um, they may say a lot of falsified reports, whatever it is, whatever they like to say. People like to talk about other people without knowing facts. But anyway, um, yeah. So if you want, there's no there. You can't be having your cake and eating it too. That's the basics. Your conservatoire days, right? Your first year, it's already set from day one. Your path. You're either gonna be networking really well, and then after you graduate, you're gonna have a job, and you're gonna in your job place, you're gonna get along with everybody, and it's gonna be great. That's great. Or you're gonna be gifted beyond anyone's belief. I mean, involuntarily so, and everybody's gonna know uh, you're the best. And then, and then whatever socially, you get swept up into whatever. If you want friends, you're gonna have to deal with users. Um, it's just, it's just it's the reality of things. Um, it's very hard to have both. Um, but in terms of classes, you should take classes that support your musical history knowledge, theory knowledge, and your piano keyboard literature knowledge. Those are basics of the basics. As far as anything else, you don't. And then work on your work on your skills. I wouldn't say technique, but work on your skills. Um, if you can, study the art of sound production. That's gonna be creme de la creme. The art of sound production. And it has to do with your ear and your pedal and how you work the venues that you concertize in. Anyway, that's pretty much, yeah. Hello, hi, hi. Hi. Hi, Mark. Yes, yes. Thank you, thank you. Uh, hi. Ah, La Campanella. Oh, tomorrow I'm taking requests, yeah. Um, that's pretty much all I could say about conservatory. I hope that helped. Sometimes, uh, a dose of reality is okay. Okay, so then we're gonna get into beginning piano. I think this is gonna bleed through, but it's okay. I have a lot of pages, so I guess you could do it. Okay, so one thing that I do want to say is you're gonna get hmm, let me just put it out there. So here's a door. Let me just draw a door. Yeah, let's make it a double door. Yeah. Double door with two handles like this, and maybe arched windows. Yay, that is a door. It's a double door. Door. Okay, and then here's maybe, let's see. Let's do stick figure house. Okay, cool. And then double door door. Okay, you'll see why I'm doing this. I need to find it. Okay, house plus door. Okay. Can you see this? Lovely, right? Well, I want to make it as simple as possible. I promise. Art of sound production. Thank you. Oh, hey. Hello. Hi, hi. Anyway, now, I'm gonna randomly jumping around between topics. One of them is gonna be uh, the different types of teachers you might come across. Okay. Um, there's going to be a type of teacher who focuses on, and students who focuses on the door. The door is made out of steel. Oh, you could say, oh, it's made out of, material. So you could talk about the material, okay, and dimensions, right? How tall, you know, width and height, you know. Um, let's see. And the material of the doorknob, style of door and doorknob, you know. And then the finish, maybe if it's a wooden, door, then it's weatherproof finish, or you could get into, or the if it has windows, then you could get into glass windows, stained glass windows, tinted windows, mirrored windows, I don't know. You could get into the door. You could talk about the door. All right, so you spend, beginning piano classes talking about a door. Oh, you're gonna learn all about a door. What's a door, everybody? Oh, it's made out of wood. It's taller than a person. You have knobs. You have doorknobs, and these are all the facts about a door. And you get tested on a door, and you get, you that's what you learn. For a whole semester, or for 2 years, or for 4 years, or for 6 years, whichever. You learn about the door. Uh, all there's known about the door. And then you get another teacher who says, first of all, a door is part of a house or a building. And the main function of the door, you don't have to know the type of the house or the building. You just have to know that it's for going in and coming out of rooms, of buildings. It's an opening. It opens and it closes. And you could even lock it. Now, in your opinion, which one is a better structured class or teacher or like which one's better? The person that says, the person that describes the door, the person that says, this is a door, it looks like this and that, and this is a door. So you talk about the door. Or you say, a door is used to enter and exit. Some kind of premise, some kind of enclosed space. Which one of these definitions do you think answers, which provides a better answer about the door? Which one, the door itself, or that this is a part, that the door is an opening that closes. As you enter, you could close it, then you could exit, and then you could close it. And inside the building, there's more doors in rooms. What do you prefer? Would you prefer getting into really, really big detail about the finish of the door, the doorknob, the window of the knob? Or do you prefer the door being a part of a house or a building? What do you prefer? What do you think is more accurate? The house. Yes. That it's part of a house. It's part of a building, right? Yes. Right? As part of the house, exactly. Oh, so you see, you belong in our channel. Yes. Thank you. But strangely, you would think that that's the logical choice, right? You would think. But strangely, very strangely, if you provide this answer to some of the beginners, they'll get mad. They'll say, I was asking about a door. Why are you talking about a house or a building? And they'll get really mad at you. And they'll say that you're stressing me out. It's like I was asking about a door. Why are you talking about a house or a building? Well, because a door is an opening that you could close and open as you enter and exit, right? The house, right? I'm not asking you to memorize a blueprint, that's advanced. But the beginning part of it, you should still know that a door is a part of a house or a building, right? And you would think that that's a better education, right? But there are people, very, very strange, I find, but there are people who would get mad at you for talking about a house and a building when they ask about a door. Because they say their logic is, I didn't ask about a house or a building. I asked about a door. And you know what? There's actually a whole educational system, and this is really weird too. There's an actual whole educational system that's built around describing a door. And furthermore, there are actually students that believe that they know what they should be getting. Now, I could tell you something for sure, is these students are going to be professional beginners for the rest of their life. Because they believe that they know what they should be getting. Why are you in the class then? Why are you taking lessons then? If you think you know the answer more than the teacher, then why ask? Are you fishing for something? Right? So this is a very, very important concept to remember as you're starting out. Okay? You might ask about a door, and then you might get the answer that it's part of a house or a building. Should you get overwhelmed and get mad? No. Because you could have a, you could have a, you know, you could have, this could be a legitimate answer, even though you're mentioning other vocabularies other than the door. And that is going to be the primary starting point of a good beginning class or a good beginning lesson or a good beginner or a good beginning teacher. This is going to be the starting point. You know, if you tunnel vision on the door, right? I'm using an analogy, right? But if you tunnel vision on the door, then you might know everything there is to know about a door. But do you really know the door? So what if somebody provides you an answer that a door is part of a house or a building? A door, what if somebody provides you, what is a door? Uh, a door could be attached to any enclosed space, an airport, house, building, um, uh, even a tent. Uh, it, a door could be uh, an opening that you could close. You could walk in, you could walk out. And the door could be inside the building, inside the house, inside an airport, inside, yeah, that's, but one shouldn't be upset and get mad about that answer. One shouldn't be overwhelmed, and one shouldn't be upset, and one shouldn't be mad that we're talking about airport, building, house. Because if you really think about it, that describes a door better than describing the actual door. And when you start piano, and when you start, or when you learn piano, or anything really, don't go to somebody who is an expert at the door. Because you could spend eons on the door and never get the whole picture of why a door. Why? Why? And, in this channel, obviously, you belong in this channel, so you completely agree, right? You think it's silly that, I'm mentioning this, but you'd be surprised. There's a whole entire world that specializes in knowing all about the door, how thick it is, um, uh, you know, the materials of a door, the dimensions of a door, the knob, the key, it's about the door. And no, because we're just talking about the door, none of us are stressed out. None of us are overwhelmed. And everybody stays a beginner for the rest of their life, over and over and over again. And that's okay. If that is your thing, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, it's not hurting anybody, right? Kind of. But but if you get mad at somebody who's teaching that a door is attached to a house or a building or an airport or a market, then you could have an what airport, market, train station, what was it, port, like or what is it, any kind of commercial commercial or private residences. It is what you go in and what you come out. That's what a door is. But then some people some people stress out and say, "Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, she's talking about houses and buildings and airports and markets and commercial buildings and train stations, but I'm only asking about a door." Oh my gosh. No, it's just a concept. You don't have to remember. It's these are just examples. You don't have to remember. All you have to remember is you go in and you come back out. And that's actually a lot simpler to understand. And it explains what a door is, perhaps better than this explanation, right? And you would think that this is, what I'm saying is very crazy, but no. A lot of people get very emotional about these things. Um, Very emotional. And they decide that it can't be. It can't be a part. A door can't just be a part of something bigger. No, it can't be. A door is a door, is a door, is a door. You should teach that a door is just a door. you know, there are people like that. Um, and if you don't do what they want, they go around on a smear campaign against you. It really does happen. Um, but since we're talking about beginning stages, beginning stages, it's actually better to go with this explanation. A door is part of a house or a building or an airport or market. You don't have to remember the entire list. All you have to remember is that it is attached to some kind of building or, a residence. It's attached to it and it's useful for going in and coming out. And that's actually how you start learning concepts in piano. Is it important to memorize? Okay, so I'll give you an example of a door. Is it important to memorize key signatures? Absolutely yes. Is it important to memorize chords, positions? Absolutely yes. But what are these for? You're going to get overwhelmed anyways. Just memorizing, regurgitating the types of doors. There's double doors, there's latches, you're just going to go over doors and doors and doors and doors. And it's just going to be a whole list of things that don't belong together, right? It's just doors, 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 doors. But if you know that a door is part of a building that you go in and out, then it matters less about what the door is, but it matters why it's there. First of all, what's the whole big thing about chords anyway? People talk about chords, positions. Like, what is it for? What does it do? Well, chords are actually the chords. Okay, let me bring this here. Okay, so if this is a chord, okay, if the door is a chord, then what's the bigger thing? Do you guys know? Do you guys know what the bigger what's a chord part of? Anyone know? you, you mentioned her like the door. Well, hi. Thank you, thank you. Hello. Thank you, thank you. It's part of the structure, yes. It's part of something else, right? Okay, so what's a chord? What's a chord good for? A scale? Nope. What are chords good for? Chords are good for structure. That's the building. That's the building. And these are the chords. But we're going to call these cadences. Yeah? We learn chords because we need to know what cadence is so that we need to know the structure. This is a smaller part of this and this. Again, as a beginner, you don't need to know which structure it is. You don't need to know what cadences are. You don't need to know anything of that. But you do need to know why you're learning about the chord. It's part of a bigger picture. It's functional. And you know what? That makes you learn chords more focused. Building blocks, smaller blocks that make, you're building a house. And these are brick by brick by brick by brick. You're building upon each other. You know? And there are people who get mad. Like, okay, you talk about, chords. And then they go, "Oh, we're done with this one. Now I could relax." And then when you teach them something else, they get mad. Why? Because they thought they were done. They thought they had everything. Oh, I know about the door. What more do I need to know? That's why they're always upset. It's like a whole group of people, a whole global thing, Uh, It's like I don't know, well, is it world's half population? I don't, whichever great number that you could find. A lot of people get upset about finding out that they don't really know music. It's like a big shock to them. It's really weird. It's because nobody told them. Nobody told them there's actually a bigger picture. That's why they're shocked. And that's why they get upset. Because it's like, no, I already learned. I already learned about the door. Don't talk to me about houses. Well, we're building a house, guys. And a door is part of the house. We're building a house brick by brick, window by window, door by door, room by room. We're building a house. That's what this is what music is. But don't get mad if I say, "Okay, now we're going to talk about windows." Right? But you think this is, kind of silly and crazy, but really, this is what's happening. Um, for example, do re mi. Do re mi fa sol la ti do. That could be another door. Do re mi fa sol la ti do. Everybody studies do re mi fa sol la ti do, and then after you learn do re mi fa sol la ti do, you think you know everything there is to know about music. Well, first of all, what you know is an archaic system that is useless, pretty much useless when you're taking advanced music theory. I mean, I understand why people would be so upset that all they know is do re mi fa sol la ti do, and they, and they thought, "Oh, I know music," only to find out that in actual music theory, we don't use do re mi fa sol la ti do. I understand that you would be upset that you were led to believe that that was end all and be all. Do re fa sol la ti do has actually two systems. One is fixed and the other one is movable. Most people who start with do re fa sol la ti do start probably with movable do system. It's movable solfege. The technical term for this is fixed solfege or movable solfege or mix fixed do or movable do. It's just interchangeable, but it's the use of do re fa sol la ti do for scale degrees, and it's actually not used in advanced settings. Colleges don't use it. Music theory people don't use it. We don't use it. So that door that you were being taught, do re fa sol la ti do, this door, and you thought you knew everything about a door, and you thought you were complete. Yeah, I understand why you would be upset if I tell you, well, let's move it here. This do re fa sol la ti do is an archaic form of a scale degree. Okay, scale degree. Okay, and let's say that the scale degree 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 with the carets on the top is a door. Then what's a bigger function? What's a bigger function of the scale degree? Still a structure. Oh my gosh. But when you learn it in this way, when you learn that you're building a house and you're learning about the windows, you're learning about the doors, you're learning about the different components of what makes a house, then even though it feels like you're getting so much more information at the beginning, you know that when you're moving on from learning about a door to then learning about a window. A window is kind of like a door, except people don't usually go in and out of windows, right? But the same fact remains that it's attached to houses, buildings, airport, market, train station, whichever. Actually, it becomes a lot simpler when you realize what you're trying to do eventually. And then you know you're studying key signatures for, it's key to say, maybe key signatures we could say is windows. Chords could be, I don't know, plumbing, you know, and the finger positions could be, I don't know, AC, I don't know, heating system. But these are all components that make up an ideal house, right? Then at the beginning, should people know about the house? Or should they just study the door and think that they know all there is to know about a door? And then say, oh, I know all about a door. Oh, what do you mean a house? I know about a door, that's enough. What do you mean a house? I know doors. And that's actually majority of the people who's studying music. it's it's just the way it is. And this is the way it's been. And I'm not a Joan of Arc. I'm not here to fight that system. I mean, I think ideally we should start by mentioning the house and saying, well, this is a house. We're going to learn about parts of the house. I think that's a better start. I mean, you're free to disagree with me. If you think it's better to start with a door, and then let's talk about windows, and then let's talk about AC, and then let's talk about plumbing, And then let's talk about toilets. Let's talk about, different rooms, restrooms. Let's talk about kitchen. Let's talk about, living room. But you know what? When you go through a system like that, one of my professors, he's very nice. He's the most empathetic person ever. But you know what he said? He said, well, you could draw eyes and nose and mouth, and it'll never be a face. It'll never be a face. And you'll never be a musician. You'll never know. You'll never know the complete picture of all the doors that you've studied, all the windows that you've studied, all the ACs and the heaters you studied, all the bathrooms, the bathtubs you studied, all the sink that you've studied, the kitchen sink, the different types of sink, the kitchen sink, the bathroom sink, uh, the faucet, the water faucets that you study. It's a lot of stuff. But know. You don't know. You just know, you might know about faucets and then you'd be like, "Oh, I know water faucets." But what if somebody told you, "Oh, there's a thing called a house and there's many different living quarters that cater to your different needs. There's something called a bedroom where you go in and you sleep. Or there's something called the living room where you sit and you watch TV or something. And then there's something called the bathroom where you wash up. There's something called a kitchen where you cook food. And then there are doors to these things, or there are windows to these things. There are faucets to the bathroom and the kitchen. There are, but then if you knew, oh, but the system has been structured around, all right, let's learn about faucets. God forbid you mention a house. That's apocalypse. God forbid you mention God forbid you mention buildings when you're talking about a door. God forbid when you're talking about buildings when you're talking about a window. God forbid. that's that's the end of the world. And that's the current educational system most, right? People use archaic do re mi. Think I know music. No, you don't. I guarantee you don't. You know an archaic form of the scale degree, but you don't know music. Oh, I know chords. I know music. No, you don't. I know chord progressions. I know music. No, you don't. I know finger positions, so I'm a good pianist. No, you're not. A good beginner and a good beginning teacher and a good beginning student is like a good traveler and a good traveling guide. When I used to tour a lot, and you'll see the pictures here, some of the pictures. But like when you're going from the US to Europe, for example, it's a long flight. So naturally, what I did before going was I looked at the time difference. So I looked it up. I looked up the time difference, the geographic location of the countries I'm touring, um, and the weather. So the time, the weather, I looked it up before. I looked up the language that they're using and the conversion, the US dollar conversion. I looked those things up. Why? Because I wanted to be prepared for my trip. That is like a house. the trip itself is a house, right? And you work on what, getting the currency, getting the language, finding the location, blah 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 blah, and that's gonna be a whole trip. But what if, I was concentrated on what if I was just concentrated on the currency? But what if I wasn't prepared for the weather or the time difference or the language? But I'm like really ready with the currency, and everybody says, "Oh, money is the answer to everything." Is it really? I heard tourists get uh, charged if you're not careful. Anyway, knowing a component of something, knowing a part of something is important. But when you're a beginner, the more background information, say for example, a trip, right? Time difference, language, currency, um, the more background information you have of going to a foreign country or a foreign continent for the first time, it's going to be all useful. Why? Because this helps you, this helps you, this helps you, this helps you. Just like how a house with a bathroom and a kitchen is very nice. It's like the more rooms, the more bathrooms, the more kitchen you have, the more doors you have, the more windows you have, the better it is. The more garage space you have, the better it is. The more, the better. It's really what a beginner should know. Are you held responsible? Are you held accountable for the blueprint? Do you have to know the plumbing work that goes into a house to appreciate the house? No, that's advanced. Okay, now then the people, people think, oh, talking about the house is too advanced. I'm not there yet. I don't want to talk about it. I just want to talk about the door. Let's talk about the window, the door. What house? This is too advanced. You just need to, a beginner just needs to know the existence of a house. Just the existence of. To know that that is your future goal. But you need to be aware of it from the beginning. Kind of like how when you're making a trip somewhere, you need to know. You need to have information. And not get mad when somebody says, "Oh, you're going to Europe? You're not going to be using your US dollars." Don't get mad at that person telling you that. Thank them. Thank them. Right? So then, you have this is going to be a really good gauge on, where you are in understanding music. Once again, here's a very, very obvious thing, right? Let's say you draw eyes. Uh, uh, this is an eye. Okay? And you draw another eye. Uh, uh, that's another eye. And then you draw lips. Oh, here's your lips. And there's the lips. Okay? And then let's say you draw a nose. Oh, you could do this nose, or you could do this kind of nose, or you could do this kind of nose. These are noses. I know my eye. I know my eye. I know my lips. I could even say, let's do some teeth. Uh, you could have lips like this too. You know, I know my lips. I know my nose. I know my eyes. How about some eyebrows? Eyebrows. You could have eyebrows that look like this. Yeah, eyebrow. Can you call this a face? It has two eyes, mouth somewhere, nose somewhere, eyebrows somewhere. Would you call this a face? Do you want to be this kind of a beginner? Is this where you want to be? You want to know all about the eyes and the nose and the mouth, but it's never a face. It's never a face. Look, wouldn't you say this is an eye? This is an eye. These are eyes. This is a nose. Nose. Look, lips. You got lips. You got eyes. You got lips. You got nose. Ta-da! Did I draw a face? Do I know a face? Do people know what a face is? Just because they know eyes and nose and mouth? But if you're in a drawing class, you know what? If you're in a drawing class, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what kind of drawing class you are. The most simple thing would be eyes, nose, mouth, maybe eyebrows. This is a face. But look, my eyes are fancier here. My lips are fancier here. Isn't this a better face? Don't I know a face? No. This is a face. If you're in a drawing class and you get a homework to draw a face, if you turn this in, well, I mean, depending on your professor, right? You might get an A, right? Oh, this is so artistic. But is this still a face? Is this a face? In strict sense of the word, do you know what a face is? Which one is it? Do you know music? Do you think you know music? Most people in the world don't know what music is. Most people don't know music. You think you know music. You think you know a face. You think you know a door. But when it's not part of anything, it doesn't have a meaning. What does the eyes do? The eyes see. What does the mouth do? It eats and tastes. What does the nose do? It smells. Look. And without knowing this, you don't know a face. How many people know music? Not a lot of people. Not a lot of people know music. But they get very emotional. They get very upset, very emotional, very adamant, and very passionate. It's like you don't know how to play basketball, but you get very upset when your basketball team loses. But that's sports. It's a spectator thing, right? You don't have to be good at baseball to be upset that your baseball team lost. right? That's a spectator thing. But when you're learning, shouldn't you know that the eyes are part of a face and that it sees? Then you would say, oh, I know eyes, right? Then I'll give you an example. Okay, so for as a beginner, what do you learn? Well, piano, you learn middle C. And then you learn about your hand. Oops, hand. And then you learn about your sitting position. You learn about the key layout. Uh, okay, you learn about these things, and then you learn about what rhythm, right? You learn about time signature, you know, key signature. You learn about chords, scales, right? Scales, chords, blah 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 blah, and the list goes on and on and on and on. Well, that's great. That's really great. But God forbid, God forbid anyone mentions the eyes being able to see and being a part of a face. What do you mean a face? We're talking about the eyes. What do you mean a face? What? We're just talking about the nose. What do you mean a face? Why are you talking about a face when we're talking about the nose? Why are you talking about the mouth when we're talking about the face? I mean, what are you talking about a face when we're talking about the mouth? Why are you doing that? And then, a lot of people are very, very, very mad. Um, well, if you don't know this, then you don't know the basics of an eye or a nose or a mouth. Am I being unreasonable? I don't think so. And if you need more time to understand that this is eyes, this is nose, this is mouth, then we're okay. We could go at a slower pace. But don't tell me to stop teaching that the eyes are a part of the face, right? So, one good rule of thumb as a beginner is don't try to teach your teacher how to teach you. Especially if you have access to the top tier, like a unicorn, right? If your teacher is a unicorn level, don't try to teach a unicorn how to be a stick horse. you know, don't try to do that. Oh, I don't need a unicorn. I just need a donkey, I don't need a rare breed. I just need, I understand. But, if your art teacher is Raphael, if your art teacher is Da Vinci, you know, if your art teacher is Leonardo da Vinci, if you're getting art lessons from Leonardo da Vinci, are you losing out? Is that hurting you? Uh, so what a beginning piano ideally should do, your beginning piano teacher and your beginning piano class and everything, it should be, it should give you, okay, hold on. It should give you, let's see. Okay. is Europe. Africa is like this. And there's like Asia right there with some. No, I forgot Italy. Then there's this continent, and then there's this like that. There's anyway, then there's Australia here somewhere. Anyway, it's okay if you're Leonardo da Vinci art teacher. You're a beginner, but you have Leonardo da Vinci as your teacher, and your teacher gives you a big overview when you're starting out. Don't panic. Your teacher knows well enough not to keep you accountable for that. It's like here's a face. Here's a face. Okay? You're not expected to be Leonardo da Vinci. You're not, you're not Raphael. You're not expected to be. But all you need to know is that the eyes belong on the face. The nose belong on the face. The nose is optional in most cases. Anime characters, they hardly have a nose. Mouth. The mouth in terms of art, in terms of face, is going to say a lot about your facial expression. Right? It's going to have a lot about your facial expression. So the eyes and the mouth, they kind of show a lot about facial expressions. That's why nose is a little minimalized, unless it's a characteristic of a character. So there's actually rules that kind of with character development, right? How do I know this? Well, I used to be in animation, so yes, I used to paint, I used to draw, I used to win painting drawing contests. Anyway, that's in the past days. Anyway, but does your master artist, top of the historic legend, unicorn teacher, does do I expect anyone that I talk to, not just like students, but do I expect anyone that I talk to understand music? No, I don't. But if someone says, I am pursuing music in some kind of degree or is in some kind of way or whatever, I expect, them to know that eyes, face, face, eyes, nose, mouth. I expect that much. Do I expect, great things? No, I don't. Do I expect, I don't even expect, hold on, let's see. Uh, um, uh, let's just say, uh, uh, I mean, do I expect people to say, oh, eyes, nose, mouth of poo? Do I expect it? No, I don't. But I expect people to know what eyes, nose, and mouth are if they say, I know a face, right? And as a beginner, your goal is to know what a face is. If you want to know what a face is, you need to know what a face is. You need to know eyes, nose, and mouth. And the functions thereof and the positions thereof and the proportions thereof. And that's gonna be my mini lecture one. Any questions? Hi, alien. You want me to draw alien? Gosh, just the. Why? Why? Why do you want me to draw an alien? Why? Flying saucer. Do 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 do. Oh no! Why? Why? Anyway, I would think they're very highly specialized. People like Jimi Hendrix are very highly specialized people. I myself wouldn't say that they're complete musicians, because they weren't, but they're very highly specialized people, right? Christine da Vinci. Oh no. Looks like any Morrissey versions of the screen by much. Cool. Yeah. I maybe to learn how to draw an eye, maybe. So stay. Oh, cool, cool. Thanks. Hey. Oh no, you're still sick. Oh no. Imagine this girl approaching you and telling all these things during your practice break. You know? I mostly just I mostly lure them out of I mostly try to lure them out of their practice rooms to go eat Cinnabon with me. Cinnabon is a chain of cinnamon rolls, and I used to be addicted to these cinnamon rolls. Especially when they're just fresh out of the oven, and then the frosting is like melting, and then you know what the best part is? The best part is the soft core, where everything is like drenched, and it's anyway. Yes. So mainly I try to talk about how good Cinnabon is, or donuts, or pizza. Didn't know so many people get mad over something like this. Haha. Yeah, people do. They get very emotional. But who gets actually upset? A lot of people. A lot of people, they say, "Oh, I play the piano." To me, right? They say, "Oh, I play the piano. I learn music, or I know music." And then, if I mention anything, then uh then they tend to get very upset. But it wasn't that I was trying to get them upset. It was like, I get excited too, right? It's like, oh, you know piano, you know music. Ah. And so, that gets me really excited. It's like, hey, so what about that face, right? How about that house, And then people are like, no, but I'm talking about a door. I'm talking about just an eye, you know. Or like, even if it's like a topic that I don't really know much about, right? But, say I like classic literature, right? And then, God forbid I mention John Steinbeck's East of Eden, right? John Steinbeck's East of Eden. I haven't read that. Oh, sorry. Or, George Orwell's, Animal Farm. No, we don't talk about George Orwell. Oh, okay. Or, Charles Dickens. Come on. That's as classic as you could get. Oh. Uh, it's because there's a lot of ego involved in what people believe they know and they don't know. It's because the reason why they get upset is because their pride is in what they know or what they believe that they know. It's their pride. It's what sustains them. And it hurts their pride and it hurts their ego. It hurts them to be faced with a mirror that accurately reflects what they lack, right? And unfortunately, uh, that happens to be the case. You know, where I am or where I go. Um, you know. Anyway, more about me. I updated my website so you could kind of see, like at first glance, scroll up, some of my pictures. I used to be scared of cameras, so there's very little uh, record. Um, it's very little, but you can kind of get the impression, you know. And you know, people like in the old days, right? They only had like one picture. And we're like, yeah, it's a picture of, you know, so and so, right? And we're like, oh, it's okay. We have one picture of, you know. Yeah. So I guess it's okay. You know, and it still didn't diminish who Debussy is, right? I mean, Debussy had a lot less selfies than most people these days, but was Debussy a historic legend? Was he a genius? Absolutely yes. The lack of pictures of Debussy doesn't make him any less important. So that's all right. Oh, anyway, but that's actually technically still a face, I guess. Yeah. Well, you know, nice draw, Christine. Thank you, Sanchez. Where are the eyelashes? Oh, I know, right? Could be an attempt at a face. I guess so. Picasso face. Yes, it was like all distorted. Yeah. Well, abstract art. Yes. Well, you know. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, Mitch. Thanks. Thank you. Your big idea supported by lots of little ideas is spot on. That's how I learned to create. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Mitch. Good, good. All right. Front yard attached. I know there's backyard, front yard. The front yard has a door. Backyard has a door. You know. Yeah. If you don't know the big concept, right? The smaller concepts are a lot harder, and that's what people don't realize, right? It's not that you know, beginners get overwhelmed, right? And they get very upset, you know, but it's you're not we're not trying to overload, right? We're not trying to overload. We're not trying to overload, right? It's like, oh, here's a face, these are eyes and mouth, but let's talk about the eyes first. Let's take a snippet of it. Let's take a part of it and then concentrate on that. And then now let's move on to the mouth. But at least you know, it's part of a bigger thing. But don't get upset if somebody mentions, you know, like for example, like if you're learning about the world, right? Know that the world is the world. But then, oh, we're going to concentrate on one continent. Oh, if we concentrate on Europe and European history, it's still not the entire world, is it? I mean, don't answer that. Europeans here. But, you know, like, for example, you know, oh, there, even within US, there's a big joke about New Yorkers, right? Because what? Most of Marvel universe settings are in what? The Big Apple, right? So it's really funny. It's like, you know, when you meet a New Yorker, people think, you know, kind of like how the violinist joke in an orchestra, right? Oh, they think the, they think U.S. equals New York, you know. But that's kind of like how a lot of people view music. A lot of people view music as like, oh, what I know is end all be all. It's enough. I don't need to know anymore. Well, okay. but don't criticize. If you're that kind of person, if you're like the New Yorkers, not all New Yorkers like that, which is just a stereotype, right? But the traditional stereotypical cartoon-ish characterization, stereotypical generalization, you know, if if you believe that, US equals New York, then at least don't criticize people who look at the whole globe and says, "Oh, well, there's Europe, there's North America, there's South America, there's Antarctica, there's Australia, there's Asia," you know, and then who kind of like break it down into different groups, There's the Mediterranean, there's the Caribbean, and, like don't, even in Canada, right? There's the Prince Edward's Island, right? Um, Bunch of islands, right? Nova Scotia, right? Way out, in the Atlantic. Just don't get mad at people who actually know the globe. Even if you think, oh, New York is end all be all. Some Parisians think Paris of Paris like that. I haven't met any of those, but there's a joke about and then there's a joke about SoCal people, right? Heavy tans, heavy tans, never wearing shoes, and there's always stereotypes everywhere we go, but and then there's a stereotypical Asian girl that plays the piano, which I'm a very non-stereotypical version of that. But hey, people force me into a category that I don't belong in. But let's just say, right? If you have a very strong belief about something, then don't force other people into your beliefs, and say this is better. Just talk about the door. Don't talk about a house. We're just talking about the door. Don't mention a house, you know? Don't do that. As a beginner, keep an open mind. Um, because, especially if you're in a class setting, because you might be alone. You might be the most outspoken, and then you might be surrounded by silent people who disagree with you, right? The most outspoken person isn't the one with the truth necessarily, right? Um, so, yeah, if you're a beginner, try to see the bigger picture first. And then it's kind of like making a puzzle, right? If you have a big picture, and then you get the little puzzle pieces, and then you put them all together to make a big picture, then that's actually a really good way to learn anything really. Not just piano, not just music, right? But know that when you're putting the pieces together of the puzzle, and you got two puzzle pieces together, but it's 1,000-piece puzzle, don't get mad. Don't get mad, okay? Don't get upset. Don't be offended. Don't be offended if somebody says, "Oh, that's very nice. Where's the rest of the picture?" Do you know that there's a rest of a picture? Yeah, I'm just starting out. Yeah, I only need to know about these two pieces of the puzzle. Um, okay. But, just be like, yeah, yeah, it's a big piece of a puzzle. I'm starting out. I'm on my way. I'm gonna connect all these puzzle pieces to make the complete picture, right? That's the right attitude. That's the right approach. And it's the right approach for pretty much anything. Get the bigger picture first. And don't be upset when I tell you you probably don't know music, and you probably don't know piano. You probably don't know what a good pianist should sound like. You probably don't know music because you probably weren't taught the bigger picture. Most likely. You were probably taught the window, the bathroom sink, the kitchen sink, the dishwasher, the washing machine, the dryer, the bathtub, the shower head. You were probably taught the stairs, the railing, the chandelier, you know, um, the speakers around the house, you know. You were probably just taught different components of, you know, the backyard, the front yard. But it's like this. You don't know a face. And unless you know a face, you know, unless you know a face, you don't really know music. And the sooner you face the fact, right? The sooner you're on your way to learning the actual bigger picture. All right, that was my mini lecture for the day. Learn to concentrate on connecting the parts. And that way you get to concentrate on the parts. The downside to learning just the eye or just the nose or just the mouth is that you concentrate on it so much, you're focused on the eyes, you're focused on the nose, you're focused on the mouth. And then you get very complacent. And you go, oh, well, I know all about the mouth. And you go, and you fizzle out. But there's no way you could fizzle out if you know, oh, my goal is the face. My goal is the face with the eyes and the nose and the mouth. Then, people ask me, oh, why do you not get burnt out? Well, let me know. I'm letting you know. My puzzle piece is not 1,000 piece. Let me just tell you that. My puzzle pieces are way more. So, because I know more, I know to do way more. So I'm doing way more. So there's no time for me to be complacent. And that's with most professional musicians, really. We know that there's way more to do. Yeah. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. And hi, Christine. Thank you, Sanchez. Hello, hi. Ooh, hey, Gopher. Welcome back. You wear shoes sometimes. Hey, Noor. Lovely. That's fine. Oh, the stereotype reference. I know, right? Most musicians, regardless of the genius they are not, outside their world, outside their instrument, but you're extremely lucid in general. Oh, Gigi. Oh, how do you know me? Yeah. I'm still showing the tip of the iceberg. I keep my best parts hidden. But Gigi, you seem to have like a keen sense, really. It's a very you must be amazing. I mean, I know you're amazing, but you must really be amazing. 'Cause it takes one to know one. Thank you, Gigi said.
Do you know what I think? That most musicians, regardless of how genius they are not as intelligent outside of their world, outside of their instrument, but you are extremely lucid in general. Thank you. Um, I try to keep it hidden. Oh, cool. Yeah, cool. Handel was a very nice man. Cool. Yeah, I know. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's easier to tell that but she's crazy than to understand what he wants to teach you. I guess so. Can you repeat that idea? It's insane. Oh, well, thanks. Yeah, well, because of my talent. Yeah. Well, my goal was to be a normal person. Mandalorian, group merch drop. Dude, really? Cool. They probably get intimidated by you somehow. Yeah, well, I try to, I, I, I try to, I try to become a very normal person, actually. Oh, thank you so much. You're amazing. Oh, thank you, Gigi. Thank you. Yeah, last year of April, Christine. Oh yeah, I know. Well, not quite. Anyway, yeah. Well, that's all I have for today. um, and let's see. I don't. That's actually the lecture that I wanted to do. Um, any questions? Nice stream. That was almost philosophical. In yeah, when I minored or when I was learning music education, there was a lot of like psychology and philosophy involved, right? Because it's a part of us. Philosophy and psychology are always a part of us. But I think it's very convenient nowadays for everyone to just ignore that, right? Ignore the psychological aspect, ignore the philosophical aspect. Why? Because we're too busy earning money. We're too busy, you know, being busy. And that's not anyone's fault. People have to be busy these days, just to make ends meet most of the time. And that's nobody's fault. But what makes life very enriching and what makes an artist an artist is that um, the awareness. That's a difference between the awareness. And so I guess what I was trying to say, the door being a part of the house or the eyes being a part of the face, is you need to stretch your awareness in order for you to grow as a musician. Because that stretching of awareness will get you to grow. But without that stretching of awareness, without that, without thinking, oh, this is a bigger picture, this is a 1,000-piece puzzle, and I just have two pieces of puzzles here. Instead of just concentrating on those two puzzle pieces and going, leave me alone. I know all there is, I know, leave me alone. you know? Instead of doing that, it's if you are aware, oh, this is a part of a 1,000-piece puzzle set. It's a set. It belongs together. you know, arms, legs, head, it belongs together. Um, it is the awareness that sets apart the levels. It is the awareness that sets apart the levels. And so there's no harm in knowing that a door is part of a house. You're not responsible for memorizing how many levels of stories, first floor, second floor, you don't have to know how many numbers of rooms it has. You don't have to know the plumbing system. You don't have to know the septic system. You don't have to know, the AC, and you don't have to know. You don't have to know. You don't have to know. You just need to know if you're studying about a door, that it belongs as part of a building or a house. If you're studying eyes, you just need to know that it's part of a face. You don't need to know the optical. Here's the thing. You know, like this is, you know, so here's an eye, right? So like for most people, this would be an eye, right? Okay, um, whichever. So this would be an eye, but then if you're studying, then you have the eyeball, and then this, and then that. This is advanced, okay? This is advanced. This is not, okay? When you're studying the eye, this is advanced. Anatomy, okay? Anatomy. This is advanced. But the eye being a part of a face, it's still beginner's package. And you shouldn't get mad when somebody tells you the eyes are part of a face. What do you mean, the face? I wasn't talking about the face. Oh, I don't think, yeah, I think, this is like, anyway, thank you for enjoying my lecture. Whatever you do when you start, know that there are infinite possibilities. And there are more than what you know. And someone who's better than you probably knows things that you can't even imagine that exists. And be comfortable with that. If you're uncomfortable with that fact and you're jealous, then work hard. Catch up. But if you don't want to do the work, then just accept that they know what you don't know. And don't get mad. And if you are a student of someone or in a class, and if the idea that an eye belongs to a face surfaces up, you know, don't go on a hate rampage against your teacher. Oh my God, she's talking about the face when all I need to know is about the eye. It's too much, too stressful. It's too much. Don't go in a panic mode. You're still just responsible for the eye, but you need to know that the eye is part of a face. That's all. It's, um, and that is actually the correct approach. Kind of like how a door is part of a house, an eye is part of the face. You just need to know. You just need to know that it's a part of a bigger thing. U.S. is a part of the earth. U.S. is not the only country. It's not the only land that people exist. We're not the only country that exists in the world, right? U.S. is just one country in a big, big earth, big world. We're part of the world, right? We're not the only world, right? it's just the same analogy. So that's the ideal start to beginners, the ideal start to beginning anything. All right. Thank you so much for enjoying this lecture. And I will come back next time. Thank you. Literally, in order to learn, you have to be humble. Absolutely, Gigi. Absolutely. And the more humble you are, the more you learn. It's very hard to even understand the dynamics. I know. But you just need to be aware, right? Just to be aware, right? Yeah. It just need to be aware. This is two pieces that belong in the 1,000 piece puzzle set, right? That's all you need to know. Nobody's expecting you to have, completed the puzzle next day. No, just if you put two and two together, that's great. You're on to something. You're on your way. Good job. Very nice. Very good job. Yeah, just know that, eventually you'll get all the pieces and it'll look like something like the puzzle box, like a picture in the puzzle box. That's a goal. Yeah. It's okay. Take your time. Take your time. You're not in a hurry. When you're learning something, you're not in a hurry. You go in the race. You go in a rate that you're comfortable in. But don't try to say that, don't try to limit yourself and others by saying, "What do you mean the face? I'm learning about the eye." you know, don't try to limit yourself. What do you mean? What do you mean the house? We're learning about the door. you know, right? What do you mean? The bigger picture. These are two puzzle pieces. Like, hey, chill. You could go as slow as you want. That's okay. But just acknowledge that it is a part of a bigger thing. US is part of the world. All right. Thank you. And that's going to be a good starting point for any beginners, for anything really. Yes, exactly. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Bye bye. Nice class today. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Well, like, subscribe, join membership, and I'll be back with more lecture topics. Love you. Take care. See you tomorrow. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. And I will leave you with this. Ta-da! Check out the eye. Look into the eyes of... Wait, is it... What's that one guy? Anyway, that's the eye. Well, I'm gonna say bye-bye. I'll see you tomorrow. Oh, hey, Doppio. Thank you so much for your hard work. Thank you. Arigato, tomodachi. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thank you.